What's up YouTube? My name is David, and today my voice is a little bit different because I have been sick, unfortunately, but I'm getting better. My voice is coming back now. I kind of lost it for a few days, so yeah. But I'm recovering. It's all good. I'll be okay. Today's video is going to be sort of a music review for Corpse Husband, the famous YouTuber. I made a voice analysis video for him a little while ago, and it seems like a lot of you really enjoyed that one. Definitely going to be making more voice analysis type videos for other famous YouTubers, singers, voice actors, and people of the sort in the future. During my voice analysis video for Corpse, I had said something like, it would be very cool to see Corpse sing. And judging by the comments, a lot of you took that as me saying Corpse has never done anything other than speaking, which obviously is not true. I mean, I thought it would be pretty obvious that I know he makes music. I know he does rap music. However, I did not know he sung at all in any of his songs. A number of you in the comments pointed me to a song in specific called Agoraphobic. You said that he does sing in that song and you should check it out. And actually a lot of you thought I should do sort of a music review on Corpse as well. So today we're going to do a music review on everyone's favorite bass voice YouTuber, Corpse Husband. As I talked about in my voice analysis video for Corpse, he's been a YouTuber for quite a while, and he started off making true horror narration stories on YouTube. People really love them because of his voice. It fit these stories really well, and over the years his voice continually got deeper and deeper to the point where it is now, which is super deep and easy to pick out in any crowd really. Last year was a massive year for him. He gained a ton of new subscribers, tons of views, millions and millions of views on all of his videos, and most importantly he started streaming with a lot of people on Twitch, playing in Among Us matches and other games as well. At the same time last year he did something incredibly smart and dropped some music. His style of music is very comparable to something like Scarlord or Suicide Boys or old XXXTentacion. It's like an underground rap with an underground type beat with heavy bass and some very visceral lyrics, a lot of dark imagery being portrayed through his voice. His darker, grittier style of music seems fitting for somebody that spent a lot of his YouTube career telling scary stories on here. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but if you're into rap music and heavier music, then you might enjoy it. Now, I've really only heard one of his songs that I can recall, and it is E-Girls Are Ruining My Life. This was like the one that kind of went viral on TikTok and other platforms last year, and it was cool. I mean, it was a fun song. It had a dope beat, and you know, his voice really made it a unique sound that you could tell was Corpse and nobody else really. I think actually I'm going to listen to all of his songs that he has on YouTube here and kind of discuss them because there aren't too many on here and they're all 2 minutes or less, which is pretty short for a song. Definitely shows what target audience he was going for. I mean, TikTok, Instagram, and platforms like that, you don't have to have a great attention span to enjoy TikTok and these other short video type platforms. That being said, I think it's actually really smart for somebody like Corpse that's huge on social media to put out songs that are palatable and snackable like these that are sub 2 minute songs. And obviously by the view count, you can see they did extremely well. These songs can definitely be quality at this short length. However, I see them being comparable to something like these sub 1 minute meme videos that we're seeing on YouTube right now that apparently the algorithm has decided to suggest to all of us at the same time. So let's put on some headphones and check out Corpse's music. All of it. All right. Now, I've seen some people comment things like Corpse's voice did not used to be this low. It has gotten a lot lower over the past year. So I am actually going to start with the oldest video first and kind of watch them in reverse order to the newest one last, which is Agoraphobic. After hearing lots of footage of Corpse's voice recently, Miss You is a stark contrast. This is really surprising how high his voice was only 10 months ago or maybe a year ago when he recorded that. It hardly sounds like the same person, honestly. His voice is so much lower now, which is not a good thing necessarily. It means his GERD is advancing. His vocal folds have been subject to more acid reflux from his stomach, causing them to be more swollen and his voice to get deeper and mix with more fry. Miss You just kind of sounds like a guy with a deep voice with some vocal fry, but it's really good. Dope. Over the next 3, Cat Girls Are Ruining My Life, Cabin Fever, and Never Satisfied, you can hear his voice change actually. You can hear his voice get deeper in these songs. I'm not sure if it's getting deeper, if he's just learning how to make it sound deeper. I'm not really sure, but I'm assuming because of his medical condition that I talked about in his analysis video that I did, his condition is actually just getting worse. My favorite out of these was probably Cabin Fever, probably because I'm biased towards AMVs that I like, and the AMV for this one was set to, is this Vampire Hunter D? It is, isn't it? Great anime. It's a good watch if you're into vampires. I guess I'll just leave it at that. But after listening this far, you can tell he has his vibe solidified. He knows exactly what kind of music he wants to make, and he made it really well. Now the next one is White Tea. This one I think really took off for him, more so than the previous ones, because White Tea has this cadence to it. It has this hook or this chorus that is recognizable and immediately repeatable and memorizable really easily anyways. In White Tea, you can really hear more of his voice that he has today. It's much deeper, it's much grittier, and it sits really well in the mix. And actually something to note about where it sits in the mix, because his voice is so low compared to what you would normally expect from a rapper, and because of his dictation skills, you can understand pretty much every word he's saying really easily, which has some positives and some negatives, especially in the rap music world. Mumble rap is a real thing that did really well for a while. Love it or hate it, it had some positive aspects. People didn't need to understand the lyrics, they didn't need to like the lyrics, and sometimes they didn't want to hear the lyrics because they were dumb. When you're rapping or singing in a manner that exposes every word you're saying, it needs to be well written. It needs to be something that's not corny, but it needs to be something that in this genre goes hard and is hard hitting and can be used as like party music or hype music. I am enjoying his music so far, but I'm not very critical. It's kind of ironic because obviously most of my life revolves around music, especially online. Yet when I'm listening to music, I'm not really that critical when it comes to like rap music or fun music. If it sounds good, you know, it's good. It sounds good. And this is good to me. And this stuff to me is fun. So yeah, it sounds good. I can definitely see where some people might think lyrics in White Tea and some of the other songs are borderline like over the top or a little cringe, depending on your perspective, and especially who you're listening to it with. But overall, I think White Tea is an awesome song. The next one, E-Girls Are Ruining My Life, featuring Savage Gasp. This is the one that really, really took off for him on TikTok and Instagram and other places where people could send each other short videos with this ridiculously low voice. As a song, honestly, this is probably my least favorite. I think the chorus for me in this one is a little too like, you know, cut and dry. That doesn't leave anything to the imagination. There isn't a lot of wordplay. It's just like very direct, like he's telling you what he wants, which is fine. It's still a dope song. How many songs out there do you know that are a minute 46 seconds long that have 26 million views and they're only 3 months old on YouTube or anywhere, really? I mean, that's ridiculous. That's really insane. But that is the power of TikTok, I guess. Also, funny story, I had no idea Savage Gasp was actually in that song. I've heard him before. And I don't know if he normally does the low vocal fry thing, but I thought it was kind of funny how you have Corpse who's speaking in his natural voice or rapping in his natural voice during this song, and it's super like full sounding, even though it's vocal fry and full of rasp and full of texture. And then Savage Gas comes in and tries to do the same thing, but you can tell it's like not natural for him. Yeah, it was cool though. It fit well. And the dope outro of that song, just like the slowed down chorus reiteration, was really cool and made me realize that I've never actually heard the whole song. Probably my least favorite one out of all these, but still pretty dope, and obviously he's done them pretty well. And the last one, the most requested one that I check out in here, Agoraphobic. Way different than the others. When his voice came in, oh my goodness, that was like super surprising. I thought it was going to be like a wispy, low vocal fry, but he just came in with this like boomy vocal fry on top of this lo-fi beat. At first, I don't know if it worked for me because it was so surprising. I've just never heard anything like it before. Maybe that's just how revolutionary things happen in music. But at first, it didn't really work for me, because it wasn't what I was expecting. And a lot of times in music, you expect things to sound a certain way. You expect them to have a certain cadence, a certain tonal range, even though you don't even think about it. And a lot of producers and artists kind of aim for that range. And obviously, Corpse's voice is an octave or an octave and a half lower than most people's, than how most people would approach a song. So yeah, it's a bit of a surprise. It reminds me of something like Jocelyn Flores or any of the X songs that he would put together using a Shiloh Dynasty track. And yes, at the end of the song, he did actually sing as a bass. So sorry, on my last video about Corpse, I was wrong. He does actually sing, and he's got a good voice. You know, he's not singing incredibly low, but because his voice sounds deep, it sounds pretty low. It's probably somewhere in the 3rd octave, I suppose. He doubled it with some falsetto that's like 2 octaves above, which is a cool trick. Another cool thing to note here is that when you hear somebody use auto-tune, especially excessively, it's pretty obvious. you know? But when you hear somebody use it a little bit, it's also pretty obvious, especially on an exposed track like this. It's lo-fi, very acoustic. When someone barely uses it at all and they're just, you know, melodyning pitches to get them to line up properly, it sounds like this. It sounds really good. Overall, very cool song. I'll probably listen to it again actually sometime. I think songs like that sound surprising the first time are always good to give a second listen. I remember the first time I heard Scarlord or Suicide Boys or any of those people that make similar music, my first reactions were like what's going on here? They were impactful, so I listened to them again and they just eventually became part of my playlist. Corpse is not the first bass to do something popular in music with his voice. However, what he's doing is very unique. A bass voice rapper, a bass voice lo-fi type acoustic singer. That is pretty rare. Of course, Avi Copland of Pentatonics has a deep voice. He's now doing his own thing with like an acoustic folksy scene, but his type of bass voice is different than Corpse's. Avi is a classical bass. He has trained his voice so he has proper airflow going through his vocal folds while he's singing and speaking in his lower register. He rarely uses vocal fry and mainly relies on his modal voice for his lower pitches.
Gandalf, 100%, no doubt in my mind. I love him so much.
Corpse, however, is primarily relying on vocal fry because of the medical condition he has that I talked about in the analysis video called GERD.
There is not a single picture of me from before YouTube with my entire face in it.
To summarize it and to quote one of his songs, I think in White Tea actually, acid on my vocals, that's the price I gotta pay. He pretty much has really bad acid reflux and the acid courses across his vocal folds and causes them to swell and get scarred up. So even though he is unique like Avi, being a bass making popular music, his bass voice is different from Avi's. However, there is somebody that shares a lot in common with Corpse's voice and music, Scrim from Suicide Boys. Thankfully, Scrim is clean now. He doesn't do drugs anymore and he's doing a lot better, which is awesome. However, during the era when Suicide Boys were really popping off, like 2015 through 2017 specifically, Scrim and Ruby as well were doing a lot of drugs and touring a lot and doing lots of interviews and things, and the wear really got to Scrim's voice, as evidenced by this interview.
I just bought 10 Roxy's, called up Adi, then I crushed it up.
Now, if you have listened to Suicide Boys music, which you probably have if you listen to Corpse's music, you remember that Scrim's verses, especially in that 2017 era, are very bassy, very gritty, and really dark sounding. He's voicing them with really low pitches, really low deliveries, but they are primarily vocal fry, in the same way that Corpse's are vocal fry. At the same time, the subject matter and mood set by the music is almost exactly the same as what Corpse is doing today. Which brings up the next point. Corpse's voice is suited for some things and not suited for some other things. Now, this isn't saying Corpse can't do these things, but one of the things his voice is not necessarily well suited for is a fast delivery of lyrics. Something you'd find from Eminem, Tech9, Ruby from Suicide Boys, or Ghostmane. These triplet or 16th note deliveries work much better with a more trebly voice. They come through clear and they come in and go away quickly. A good analogy for this might be, well, imagine a guitar solo you like, maybe Eruption from Van Halen or literally any Metallica song. The pitches being played by the guitar are fairly high and they're easy to discern. A really good musical ear can pick out all these pitches and repeat them. They're memorable. Now picture that same guitar solo done a couple octaves lower on a bass guitar. It would sound like a muddled mess. It would pretty much just sound like a tsunami of sine waves. Following the analogy, Corpse trying to recreate Rap God except 2 octaves lower and at the same tempo as the original one done by Eminem, it just wouldn't work very well. Now let's flip over to things that Corpse's voice is suited for really well. He can take his time with his lyrics. Somebody that has a higher voice might need to impress the ear with a percussive type delivery, whereas Corpse can take his time and tell a story. But when it comes to his voice, it's not any percussive triplet type nature that attacks people's ears in an enjoyable way. It's the texture, the nature of low frequencies tickling the ear. It's equally as enjoyable in a somewhat surprising and unique way. At the same time, Corpse's voice is perfect for setting a darker mood, for darker music, for grimier music, for night show type music. You can put pretty much any minor key trap beat behind Corpse's voice and it's going to sound good. There was an era where I listened to Suicide Boys, Ghostmane, Puya, and the likes all the time, and there are an incredible number of songs put out by Suicide Boys. The beats are all similar, but they just kept reproducing their sound in a slightly different manner each time, and I think Corpse has the same ability. Although it is nice to find a song like Agoraphobic on occasion. As I mentioned, at first, Corpse's low ear-attacking fry didn't necessarily work for me in combination with the acoustic lo-fi type beat that was introduced at first. But after a couple of listens, I got a bit more used to it. Just like other things in music that are shocking or not expected, I think it just takes a little bit of getting used to. The quality is there. The lyrics are tasteful, they're relatable, and it's just a great song overall. And at the end of the song, he did sing. It's cool, entertaining, and important to see some diverse musicality from a guy like Corpse, because even though Scarlord and Suicide Boys and Ghostman have proven that you can make literally hundreds of songs that sound similar and people like me will still listen to them, it's nice to know that you can also put out a more soft-hearted track and the same people will still enjoy it. All in all, I think Corpse makes awesome music. You can tell that he definitely knows what he wants to make. He has solidified his style, his brand. He knows what he's doing. Because of all the momentum he's gained in the past year, the next song that he drops is guaranteed to be, well, huge. I cannot remember the last time I saw someone putting out consistent 1.5 to 2 minute songs and them getting tens of millions of views on YouTube. I don't even know how many he gets on Spotify, but I'm sure it's an impressive number. That's just incredible. So very excited to see what he drops next. Very cool to see a bass voice, no matter what variety, doing something in music that is exciting, because it doesn't happen very often. It's rare, especially in the rap world. So all the best to Corpse. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Comment below what you want to see next. It helps me figure out what to make for my next video. So I want to put out content that you want to see, obviously. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram as well. I post stuff in my story on there. Try to keep people updated with my life on occasion. Hopefully my voice will be back to normal sometime soon. I'm feeling healthier and my voice is getting there, but it's not there yet. So anyways, yeah. Thank you for watching, and until next time.